Stop scrolling. I need you to actually stop for a second, because what I'm about to say is going to hit different if you let it. Right now, in this exact moment, there are millions of people sitting on ideas. Millions of people with dreams so vivid they can taste them. Millions of people who have the talent, the vision, the hunger, and yet nothing. No movement, no action, no results. And you know what the scariest part is? Most of them will go to their graves like that, with the dream still locked inside, with the idea still unbuilt, with the version of themselves they always wanted to become never becoming real. I'm not saying that to scare you. I'm saying it because I was one of those people, and I almost stayed one of those people forever. Today, I'm going to tell you the full story, the real one, not the highlight reel, the actual journey, the doubt, the darkness, the near quitting, and the moment everything shifted. And before we dive in, if you are someone who believes that action beats hesitation every single time, type 44 in the comments right now, because this video is not for everyone. It's for the ones who are actually ready. Let's go. Part 1. The world rewards action, not ideas. Let me ask you something uncomfortable. How many ideas have you had in the last year, real ones, good ones, that you did absolutely nothing with? 1? 5? 10? Now think about this. Somewhere in the world, right now, someone with a worse idea than yours, less talent than yours, fewer resources than yours is executing. They're building, they're posting, they're failing forward, they're learning in real time. And in 6 months, a year, 2 years, they're going to have something you don't. Not because they were smarter, not because they were luckier, but because they moved and you didn't. This is the brutal reality that nobody talks about enough. We live in a world that is absolutely obsessed with ideas. Everybody has a podcast idea, a business idea, a content idea, an invention that could change lives. The coffee shop is full of people talking about what they're going to build. The group chat is full of plans. The notes app on your phone is full of concepts that never left. But the market? The market doesn't pay for ideas. The market pays for execution. You cannot deposit a plan into your bank account. You cannot build a legacy with intentions. You cannot change lives with a concept that only exists inside your head. The world rewards the person who moves, the person who ships, the person who puts the imperfect version out there and then improves it, rather than waiting until it's perfect and never releasing it at all. There's something called the first mover advantage. In business, it means the company that enters a market first has a structural edge over everyone who comes after. But this principle extends far beyond business. It's a life law. In any environment, your school, your city, your niche, your industry, your family, the person who moves first sets the standard. They become the reference point. They create the proof that it's possible, and every person who comes after them is forever playing catch-up. The first person in your circle to start a business changes what your circle believes is possible. The first person in your family to break a generational pattern gives everyone who comes after them a new ceiling to stand on. The first person in your niche to go all in, before it was cool, before it was safe, before the results were guaranteed, becomes the blueprint that everyone else studies. And here is what nobody is willing to say out loud. In most rooms, nobody even tried. That's not an insult. That's an opportunity. The competition isn't as fierce as your fear makes it seem. The space isn't as crowded as your doubt tells you. Most people are so paralyzed by fear, perfectionism, and overthinking that the bar to stand out is genuinely not that high. It's just a little higher than 0, which is where most people stay. So the question isn't whether you're good enough. The question is whether you're willing to be the one who actually shows up. Part 2. The identity of the chosen one. I need to completely reframe something for you. When most people hear the chosen one, they picture someone who was born for greatness, someone who had a destiny, someone that the universe pointed at and said, "You, out of everyone, you're the one." That's a fairy tale. In the real world, there is no cosmic selection. Nobody's tapping people on the shoulder and handing out success. Nobody's looking down from above and saying, "This one gets the dream, that one doesn't." The chosen one is the person who chose themselves. Read that again. Let it land. The chosen one is the person who decided, before the results came, before the validation arrived, before anyone else believed, that they were going to make it, that they were going to bet on themselves when the odds looked terrible, that they were going to keep moving when every logical voice in their head said stop. That's the real definition, and it changes everything. Because if being chosen is something that happens to you, you're powerless. You just wait and hope the universe picks you. But if being chosen is something you do, if it's a decision you make, a commitment you keep, then you have full control, right now, today. You don't need someone to discover you. You discover yourself. You don't need someone to open the door. You walk through the wall. You don't need the world to believe in you first. You believe in yourself first, and then you give the world no choice but to catch up. Every single person you look up to, every creator, every athlete, every entrepreneur, every artist who seems untouchable right now, they all had a season where they were you. Unknown, uncertain, building in the dark with no guarantee it was going to work, and they made a decision that you can make right now. They decided to act as if the audience was already there, to produce as if their name was already known, to work as if the legacy was already being written. And slowly, not in a week, not in a month, but steadily, brick by brick, the world aligned with the vision they held for themselves. That's not magic. That's identity. That's the power of deciding who you are before the evidence shows up. You are the chosen one, but you have to choose yourself first. Nobody is coming to do it for you.
Part 3. Why most people never start. The real reasons. So if starting is the key, if action is the answer, why don't people do it? I've thought about this deeply, and it always comes down to 3 things. The first is fear of judgment. People are terrified of being seen in the process. They want to be seen at the destination, successful, polished, validated, but they don't want anyone watching them try and fail. And so they never try. They stay in the comfortable invisibility of doing nothing, because nothing means no criticism, no embarrassment, no one laughing. But here's the thing about the people who might laugh at you. They're not building anything. They are spectators, and spectators are people who couldn't commit to the game, so they watch from the stands and critique the players. Their opinion of your attempt is worth exactly as much as what they've built, which is nothing. You have a choice. Be criticized for trying or be forgotten for standing still. Those are genuinely your only 2 options. Choose which discomfort you can live with. The second reason is perfectionism. Perfectionism sounds noble. It sounds like you care about quality. But in practice, perfectionism is just fear with better branding. It's the voice that says, not yet. It's not ready. You're not ready. Wait until you know more. Wait until the plan is tighter. Wait until you feel qualified. And that wait, it never ends, because there is always another reason to delay, always another skill to learn, another detail to refine, another version that could be slightly better. Here is the truth that breaks the perfectionism trap. Your first attempt doesn't have to be great. It doesn't have to be impressive. It doesn't have to win awards. It just has to exist. Because something imperfect that exists will always outperform something perfect that lives forever in your head. The first video doesn't have to go viral. The first product doesn't have to change the industry. The first attempt just has to be the proof that you're someone who acts. That's it. Build from there. The third reason is quiet disbelief. This is the one nobody admits. Deep down, there's a part of them that doesn't fully believe the reward is real, that the life they want is actually available to them specifically. They've watched other people succeed from such a distance for so long that success feels like it belongs to a different category of human, a category they're not in. And so they don't move, not because they're lazy, not because they're dumb, but because they've already decided the game isn't for them. They've talked themselves out before they've started. If that's you, I need you to hear this. The people living your dream are not made of different material. They do not have special blood. They were not pre-selected. The only thing that separates them from you is that they started and they stayed. Full stop. That's the entire gap. and it's a gap you can close starting right now. Part 4. The dark period no one shows you. Let's talk about the part of the journey that gets cut from every highlight reel. After the excitement of starting, after the initial momentum, after the first few wins that made you think, okay, this is it, this is working, there's a period that arrives for everyone who tries to build something real. It's the dark period, and it is brutal. In the dark period, the growth stalls, the numbers plateau, the people who were cheering you on at the beginning have gotten bored and moved on. The results are not matching the effort. You're working harder than ever, and the return feels invisible. You start doing the math, the hours you put in, the sacrifices you've made, and it doesn't add up. It doesn't seem worth it. And the voice starts. The voice that says, maybe this isn't for you. Maybe you read the signs wrong. Maybe the people who doubted you were right. Maybe you should just stop, cut your losses, go back to what was safe. That voice is the test. Not the beginning. The beginning is easy. Everyone starts something. The test is the dark period. The test is the moment when quitting seems not just reasonable, but logical, when the evidence seems to support giving up. The people who stop there never find out what was on the other side. They carry that unfinished story with them forever, the what if that haunts them. And the people who push through, who don't trust the darkness to tell them the truth about their future, who keep moving even when they can't see progress, the algorithm breaks in their favor. The right person discovers their work. The compound interest of months of consistency suddenly pays out. The door they had been knocking on finally opens. Not because they got lucky, but because they were still there when luck arrived. Most people leave the room right before the breakthrough. They pack up their things 5 minutes before everything changes. They give up on Tuesday, and the breakthrough was going to come on Friday. Don't leave the room. Whatever you do, don't leave the room. Part 5. What it means to be first in history. Being first changes something permanent, not just in the world, in you. When you are the first person in your family to build a business from nothing, something shifts in the bloodline. When you are the first person in your city to make it on the internet, something shifts in the culture around you. When you are the first person in your circle to refuse the script that everyone else is following, to reject the idea that this is just how things are, this is your ceiling, stay in your lane, something shifts in the entire environment. You become evidence. And evidence is the most powerful thing in the world, more powerful than motivation, more powerful than a speech, more powerful than any book or course or video, including this one. Because when people see you, someone from the same background, same city, same set of obstacles actually win, it doesn't just inspire them, it proves to them that the ceiling they thought existed doesn't. And you can't unprove that. Once someone from their world has broken through, the excuse that it's impossible disappears forever. Your success becomes someone else's permission slip. Your story becomes someone else's starting line. Your breakthrough becomes the proof that changes what your entire circle believes is possible. That's a different kind of legacy. That's not just building something for yourself. That's rewriting what's possible for everyone connected to you. And it starts with the decision to be first, to be the one who doesn't wait for permission, who doesn't need a roadmap because they're willing to build the road, who doesn't need validation because they've already validated themselves. First in history. That phrase sounds massive, and it is, but it doesn't have to mean globally. First in your family, first in your school, first in your neighborhood, first in your generation. That's history too. That matters too. That changes lives too.
Part 6. The Principles of the Ones Who Make It. After studying the people who actually achieve what they set out to achieve, not the people who talk about it, not the people who almost did it, but the ones who actually crossed the finish line, there are patterns, laws, non-negotiables. The first is that they decide before they're ready. They don't wait for confidence to arrive. They act, and confidence follows the action. They understand that readiness is not a feeling you get before you start. It's a feeling you build by starting. The second is that they treat consistency like oxygen, not motivation, Motivation comes and goes, not inspiration. Inspiration is unreliable. Consistency. Showing up on the days it's boring, on the days it's not working, on the days nobody is watching and the results aren't there. That is the actual work. That is what separates the ones who make it. The third is that they protect their vision fiercely. They don't share their dreams with people who have already given up on theirs. They don't let the doubts of small-thinking people colonize their mind. They curate what they consume, who they talk to, what they spend mental energy on, because they understand that your environment doesn't just influence your success, it largely determines it. The fourth is that they play a long game. They don't make decisions based on what will feel good today. They make decisions on who they're trying to become in 5 years. They are willing to be misunderstood, to look crazy, to sacrifice comfort in the short term, because they can see something that the people around them can't see yet. And the fifth, the one that ties everything together, is that they never outsource their belief. They don't need the world to believe in them first. They don't need the validation before they move. They don't need someone else to confirm that their idea is good. They have decided, and that decision doesn't bend. Part 7. The call to action that actually means something. I'm not going to end this video with empty hype. I'm going to end it with a challenge, a real one. Right now, not after the video ends, not after you sleep on it. Right now, I want you to think of the one thing you've been putting off, the one move you've been too scared to make, the one idea that keeps coming back no matter how many times you ignore it. Got it? Here's your assignment. Start it within the next 24 hours. Not finish it, not perfect it, just start it. Make the first move, send the first message, record the first take, write the first paragraph, open the first file, take the first step. Because momentum doesn't come before the first step. Momentum is the first step, and then the second, and then the third. It builds from movement, not from waiting. When you do it, come back here and type 44 in the comments. Not because it's a trend, but as a declaration, as proof to yourself and everyone watching that you are someone who moves, that you are someone who doesn't just consume inspiration, you act on it. You were always the one. Let me leave you with something that I need you to actually carry with you. Every person who has ever changed a game, broken a record, rewritten what was possible in their world, they all shared one moment in common. A moment before the success. A moment when nothing was certain. A moment when everything in their environment was telling them to stop, and they chose to keep going anyway. That moment is available to you. It might be today. It might be tomorrow. It might be 6 months from now in the middle of your dark period when quitting feels like the only rational choice. And in that moment, I need you to remember this video. I need you to remember that the breakthrough is on the other side of the very thing you're afraid of. That the chosen ones aren't the ones who never doubted. They're the ones who doubted and moved anyway. You have the idea, you have the talent, you have the time, you have every tool you need. The only thing that was ever missing was the decision to begin. Make it today. Type 44 if you're ready to choose yourself. Share this with one person who needs it, because your share might be the thing that changes their entire trajectory. And subscribe, because we're just getting started. This is history in the making, and you were always the one.